hey, you'd be very lucky to have me. Sign me up.
That's got
Yeah.
to be internal, obviously.
Welcome to another episode. I'm Carl Davis from the Academy at mytheatreschool.com, where we offer musical theatre training online with industry professionals. I feel really lucky today because I've been joined by the head of dance at one of London's highly respected musical theatre colleges. Let me introduce you to her.
Laurie Scarth played Tracy Turnblad during the UK tour of Hairspray. You may have also seen Laurie in Cats at the London Palladium, or as Sister Mary Patrick during the UK tour of Sister Act the Musical. Laurie is the head of dance at Emil, one of London's new and exciting musical theatre colleges. With a huge amount of performing experience to share, paired with the know-how of what it takes to get into drama college, Laurie has so much to offer young performing artists. And in this episode, she'll be giving you an insight into exactly what she looks for at drama college auditions.
Laurie, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you giving up your time for the students here at My Theatre School. We've got so much to get into, so I'm just going to dive straight into the questions. You are the head of dance at Emil. Can you tell us a little bit about Emil, what you do, what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Emil Academy, we have 3 separate courses. We have a 2-year BTEC course, which is the equivalent of a 6th form course. Apart from it's very intense and a lot of contact hours. We also have a 1-year foundation course, which is aimed at students 18 and plus. So those could be students that don't feel that they're ready for drama school yet. They're not ready for a degree course, or they've applied for a degree course, haven't been lucky this year, and need that extra year of training to just further progress and get ready for a higher education course. And then obviously in the last 3 years, we've opened our BA Honours degree course, which is in partnership with Bedfordshire University. All 3 courses are focused on triple threat training. So there is neither one discipline that leads any of these courses, and they're all the same in the respect that it's triple threat training. So it's equal distribution of singing, dance, acting, and everything that goes in between for hopes and dreams to go into a musical theatre industry.
So for someone who was thinking about auditioning for Emil, if, let's say, they're strong in one discipline, they're a really good singer, and they're not so great at dancing, but okay at acting, does that, because it's a triple threat course, does that affect their chances of getting into Emil?
No, the 2 things that we look for when we're auditioning is trainability and potential. So I think a lot of prospective students think they have to be the finished article prior to getting into a college, and of course that's the college's job. We need to train those people. So as long as there's potential there, as long as it's safe to push them in a dance capacity, as long as there's potential there, we genuinely believe that we can train anybody to get to the point that they need to be with the right commitment. They've got to have the right mindset and the right commitment, but we do think that we can do that with people.
Wow! That's a big statement, because, but the important thing you said there was the commitment. The student needs to have the commitment to be able to go through that process. Now, yeah. I've had a few students ask me about going off to do BTEC or A-levels at theatre schools like Emil and other ones that are around in London, and I've never really pushed for it too hard. But I've just had a look at the Emil website, which is brilliant. There's so much information on there. And on there you can see the transition of the A-level BTEC students who go off to all the other theatre schools that are out there.
Yeah, our BTEC course is obviously our oldest course. The school's only 13 years old. The school started, Emil started this school on a Sunday afternoon with a handful of kids in a church hall. And within 13 years we've got to this point. The BTEC was the first course that the college begun with. And so obviously we feel very confident in our process with that course. We attract incredibly talented students onto this course, and they're very passionate and driven. With the right commitment again and the right mindset, the amount of improvement that we're able to achieve with students in the 15 to 18 months that we've got them before they start to apply for further training is incredible. And we're really, really very lucky. We get brilliant students, brilliant 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds that are so driven and that are already so capable of working at a high level. Then obviously they start to audition, and we get students getting a range of offers from drama schools, from Lane, Bird, Performers, Erdang, Mountview, GSA, Italia Conti, Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, Lambda, Rose Bruford, RADA. The last few years have been incredible. So we're obviously incredibly proud of all of our students.
I think that's really interesting, because you'd think that Emil Dale, as you said, it's quite a new college, and in this, essentially, especially with the BA Honours course, is it in competition with these other theatre schools? Because what we're doing right there is talking about training your BTEC students to go on to do these other courses, and automatically I thought, surely aren't they in competition with each other, with Mountview, with Erdang, and all these when you're doing your BA? But clearly not. You're supporting that pathway onto any form of further education.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we started with a BTEC course. We then adapted and had a 1-year gap foundation course, and then the BA Honours course is developed, which is just incredible. And like I said, we partnered up with Bedfordshire University, who supply an incredible amount of support to the college. Our BA Honours course isn't right for all of our BTEC students. When students come to us at 16, they're still unsure of which path they want to go down. Some of them come to us at 16 and they think they want to just dance. And then after a few terms with us, they might think, actually, I'm quite good at this and this as well. So actually, maybe the drama schools that I'll apply for will be different. Some of them have a total change of heart and go, I just want to go straight acting. You know, and so we support every single one of them, and we want them to be happy, and that's really important. All of the drama schools in the country are completely different, and that means they need different types of students, and our BA Honours course is exactly the same. So what we do on the BTEC course has a very different purpose to what our BA Honours course does. And, you know, what we need to do is ensure that they get into the right college that's right for them and that can take them where they want to go, as opposed to just clinging on to them all.
They're mine, the possessions,
which
I
we'd
own
love
them.
to do half the time.
Yeah. Oh, I remember working with a student and talked about the process of what they're going to go through of training and then auditioning, trying to get their first job. And then after this conversation, she decided she didn't want to be a dancer anymore or a singer. She wanted to go into nursing and completely stopped thinking about performing arts. I was like, oh no.
It happens all the time.
You don't want to crush your dreams, but this is tough. This is going to be really hard. Can we talk about the application process? How do people actually get into Emil Dale?
So just like all of the other colleges in the country, we have an online application process. Obviously, at the moment, auditions are really different. What we would normally do is invite you to a specific date. If you were having a face-to-face audition, we would ask you to prepare 2 monologues and 2 contrasting songs. So the 2 monologues, one would need to be classical and one contemporary. And then obviously your 2 contrasting songs for the singing department. There isn't anything that you can prepare dance-wise prior to a face-to-face audition with us. If you were having a face-to-face audition, you'd then come in and we'd essentially put you through a traditional jazz class. We'd warm you up, take you through some technical work, have a few technical exercises in the centre of the room, and then teach a short combination that would then obviously be seen in small groups. Then normally during a face-to-face audition, we would make a cut around halfway through the day, and then we'd go into an interview stage, and we make it clear every single time when we make that break halfway through the day, it doesn't mean that somebody's not successful. It might just mean that we've seen all we need to see for today. However, as everybody knows, at the moment, auditions are really different this year, and I really feel for applicants this year. It's really, really hard. And obviously with our BTEC course, we've got our own students going through this as well. And with our Gap Foundation students as well, I should add. So what we ask in acting and singing is still essentially the same. We still want applicants to prepare 2 monologues, and 2 contrasting songs. With the dance aspect of what we're doing at EDA, I ask for a kick exercise, a jump exercise, a pirouette exercise, and then I'm looking to see you dance. So I want to see a short combination or a short routine. It can even be a piece of footage from a show, but what's really important is that I need to see the applicant clearly and not, I'm the person in the pink wig 3 rows back. Bless. I mean, it's so hard. It really is so hard at the moment. And I feel that students are putting so much pressure on themselves to be in the right environment. And, you know, I keep saying to our younger students, if you've got talent and there's something there, they will see it. Whether you're dancing on the London Palladium or you're in your kitchen, hopefully, you know, colleges and the people on these panels can see potential and trainability. And everybody's just got to try the best, but it's such a hard time for applicants right now, or any students right now. It's such a challenging time.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. One of the people who follow our TikTok account at My Theatre School, they were saying, how do you showcase your personality in an online audition? And essentially, my response was exactly the same way you would in a normal audition. Granted, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And when someone else is talking, stop so they can talk, because this one-to-one Zooming is always very, very difficult. But if they ask you a question, then showcase your personality at that point. Yeah, that's the accent. I'm very, very talented. I can do lots of different accents.
We know.
Okay, so the audition process, so it's great to see what the future is when we go back to one-to-one, face-to-face auditions. But the online stuff, when you talk about classical monologues and contemporary monologues, like for guidance, it's quite difficult. Some people find it quite difficult to describe what a classical monologue is in comparison to a contemporary monologue. Is there guidance for that, or do you expect like the local theatre schools that they attend, or their private tutors to attend, to prep them in that sort of area?
So I believe that every applicant that applies for Emil Academy has a very specific breakdown of what we need from them. So every single department, obviously, when we found out that we had to start creating an online submission account, each department thought, right, what do we specifically need to see from these students without putting them under a tremendous amount of unnecessary pressure? And so every single department has made it really, really clear, even down to my kick exercises. I specifically say, this is what I want to see. I want to see 8 kicks on your right leg, turned out 8 kicks on your left leg, moving on to kick the leg devant or to the front, you know, because not everybody understands classical terminology, and that's not a problem whatsoever. And I believe the acting department and the singing department is exactly the same. Many people would give a Shakespeare for a classical monologue, and I know that our head of acting, Jason, who's utterly wonderful, likes people to use their own accent.
Really?
So yeah.
Little tip for you there, inside knowledge. And when you're watching auditions, the applicants, do you look for like classically trained applicants, or do you look for a bit of sass, a bit of flair? What type of, because you've just said that he likes accents, what type of dancer do you look for?
I am massively driven by energy, and it's really hard to explain this. Something that Emil says, that when we take a student on, or a student decides to train with our college, it's such a big commitment. And the student and us, the college, need to think about, do we want to work with that person for 2 years, 15 months, 3 years? It's a massive commitment. And so when if we were in the studio, I am massively driven by who is open in the room, who's listening, who's following the person at the front who's leading the audition, who is following that person's every word. I don't need them to be perfect, but I need to know that they can work and they can listen. That is more important to me than seeing somebody do 6 pirouettes. And I'm quite open about this in auditions face to face as well. And I'll say to students, If I don't feel like I'm getting an awful lot of energy from the room, I'll stop the audition and say, guys, you know, there is nothing bad that's going to happen in this room. Just enjoy yourselves and get something from it. And hopefully the reason that the applicant is auditioning is because they love what we're doing. And so essentially that's what I'm looking for as well. Obviously, I need to see potential, but I don't need somebody to have been dancing since they were 2 years old for me to get that from them.
I was talking to a student about preparing for auditions, and I would say if you cover all of your preparation, if you make sure you're completely ready to go into that audition, then you only have two responsibilities during the audition. That's one, to showcase your potential, showcase your ability, and two, to showcase that you're a nice person to work with, that you're going to contribute positively during the sessions. Those are the only two responsibilities you have. You've done all the prep work and now showcase those two abilities, and they're going to want to work with you. That's how I feel about it.
And that's how I feel about the industry, full stop. It's so easy when you're training people because yes, we all need to be as technically proficient and knowledgeable in our field, but everybody wants to work with good people, and because that creates a better working environment, and so vitally important.
We've talked about what you look for during the audition. Do you find out on the same day of your audition whether you've been successful or not?
No, unfortunately don't. No. So as I said before, on a face-to-face audition, we'd normally make a cut around halfway through the day. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're unsuccessful, but for that specific day, we don't need to see anything else. Quite often, people that have been let go at 2:30 might get a recall later down the line. However, the people that have been recalled, sometimes they sing again, sometimes they just go into an informal interview where they'll speak with either myself, the deputy head David Bridges, the head of music Tim Whiting, head of acting Jason Mark Williams, or Emil Dale himself sometimes interviews people as well.
Okay, so let's say I've been successful, I've got into Emil Dale, congratulations me. What is the daily schedule like if I'm attending Emil Dale?
So our daily schedule for all students in the entire college is that they must be signed in by 8:15. If you're not signed in, you're barred. Classes begin at 8:30 every single day with a physical cardio. So every student, whether you're a 16-year-old first year BTEC, has a 30-minute cardio at the beginning of every single day, Monday to Friday. That's the same for degree 3s. So whether you're 21 or 16, you're doing the same thing. We feel like the cardio at the beginning of the day is essentially like a cast warm-up, and it's an opportunity for everybody to leave their stuff at the door and to get their heads focused on the class. And also it's creating strength and good mental attitude and endurance. And then your day is comprised of 6 lessons of 70 minutes. Those lessons could range from, you could have a cardio into ballet, into voice. You could then go into a tap lesson, into an audition dance technique class, into a one-to-one private singing lesson. You then might go into a devising project and finish off the day with commercial. It's quite full on.
It is fun, and that's 5 days a week.
That's 5 days a week, yeah. There are a couple of study breaks, but not many.
What sort of dancing do you do at Emil Dale? What sort of dancing do you cover?
So our core subjects are our traditional subjects, which are ballet, jazz. So we have, each student would have 3 ballet, 3 jazz every week. You would get 1 tap lesson a week, although our BTEC students at the moment have 2 tap lessons a week at the moment. You also have commercial every week. You get a unit of contemporary and normally a unit of pas de deux. Obviously, with social distancing at the moment, we're putting it back. We also have a wonderful class every week, song and dance. So obviously you would work together with an MD and a choreographer, which works towards a performance at the end of every term. What else? I must have forgotten something. Ballet, jazz, tap, commercial, contemporary, audition, tech, song and dance. Yeah, I think that's all. That's everything for dance that we cover.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff to remember. Do you get to do any shows while you're there?
Yes, so normally under normal circumstances, the BTEC course works towards a full-fledged show at the end of their summer term. Sadly, last year that wasn't able to happen. Fingers crossed that can happen this year, but obviously we don't know whether that will happen. The GAP 1 year foundation students work towards a summer showcase, which is open to all parents and friends and family to come and see. And then the degree students do not perform to the public in year 1 or year 2. They perform to the public in year 3. So they have an in-house big musical theatre project. So for example, our degree 3s this year have just been split into 2 casts, and they did Company and Rock of Ages. That's not open to the public, but it is open to all faculty and also prospective agents that could be looking at our students. So that's like opportunity 1 for agent interest. The degree 3s then go into term 2 normally, and they work towards their full-scale musical. This year that's Spring Awakening, which we're really excited about. And the whole year group is split into 2 casts. So there's 2 separate casts running at the same time. The degree year 3s also have an agent day, which is obviously an in-house performance, but that's open to all agents come in and watch our students. And then they also have a London showcase. So degree 3s get a lot more opportunity to perform, but obviously that's because of obvious reasons.
Yeah, so essentially, as they go through the process, initially they're learning how to learn, they're training and developing their skills, and then in the 3rd year, I guess they are showcasing those skills to agents who are going to help them get work in the industry.
Yeah.
And that was leading on to the next question: how do you get an agent after your training? But you're offering quite a few opportunities for them to connect with agents.
Yeah, so they should have 4 separate opportunities to get agent interest. Which we feel is good and ample. Last year, even though unfortunately our degree 3's musical was finished halfway through because of lockdown, a huge proportion of that first graduating year signed with agents, which is wonderful. We've also got our own in-house agency at Emil Academy as well. So every single student that is on our degree course has representation from that agency if they want to choose the agency, or if they're unsuccessful in attracting any other outside agent interest.
So with Emil Dale being fairly new, do you still get a lot of agency interest?
Yes, last year was obviously our first year that we had a graduating set of degree students, and we were blown away by the amount of interest that we had in the college. I think we are new and we have got a lot to prove. But that makes the team incredibly hungry. Our team is young, and we are wanting and passionate to do everything within our power to make sure that our graduating students are getting the best opportunities. So for example, last year, on our first agent day, which was the students' first opportunity to get any kind of agent interest, we were blown away. I think we had 25 agents on that agent day, and all of those agents signed a student, or sometimes multiple students. So we've been blown away, and we're so grateful that agents would take a chance on a new school, and we're building relationships with agents local and far afield as well, and we're really excited about that, and it's just really exciting and promising for the future.
I think some of the agents will be very, very lucky to have a student from Emil Dale on their books, because working with people like yourself, who I know have been super successful as performers, and I know how passionate you are as a teacher as well, I think they'll be very, very lucky to have Emil Dale students on their books, because I know how good you are, so the students I'm sure are very, very good as well. A question that we've had come in on TikTok was, I'm okay at singing and dancing, but I'm not a skinny girl. Does appearance affect your chances of getting in?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like I said before, we are looking for potential and trainability. So the magical thing about musical theatre is that it's for everybody, and it takes everybody. If everybody was the same, if everybody looked the same, musical theatre wouldn't be what it is. And I genuinely feel that that's what makes MT special. Everybody has something different to offer. And so we celebrate that. I don't care whether you're tall, small, you know, different sizes, different hair color. I don't care. If you are really passionate and driven about this industry and you want to train and you're focused and you've got potential, then a college is going to be interested in you. Obviously, there's an awful lot of chat and pressure in our industry about how you look. A lot of people will say it is an appearance-led industry. What we try to focus on at the college is being our best selves, and that's different for everybody. And the emphasis has to be on health and being strong and the best versions that we can be. And so we're all individuals, and that's something different for every single person. So no, the fact that you were more curvy would never ever stop us from being interested in you as a prospective student.
It's really interesting because, I mean, performing artists are normally some of the most insecure people you'll ever meet because appearance there's a lot of pressure on it. And especially nowadays with social media and how many likes you get on social media, how many followers, there's a lot of pressure on that kind of thing. And I think that's really great that that's your ethos when it comes to appearance, because I know that when I was younger, I didn't go off to drama college because I was a bit insecure about my appearance. I didn't have that leading man, hulky looking image. So I thought, I can't do this. So I never actually went. I didn't even try to apply for anywhere. I've been very, very lucky to go straight into the industry and work and do what I've done. But I look back and parts of me go, I kind of wish I did have that experience of going to drama college and going through that process at the same time. And when I was teaching at GSA, I thought, oh, I've got an inside, I can teach at GSE and see what they're trying to look for. And as I looked across the pool of students, there was no one who looked the same. They all looked really, really different. I'm like, what do they look for? What? I just didn't quite understand it. I didn't understand what they were looking for. And that was exactly it. They weren't looking for anything. They were looking for passion and talent. And it's simple as that. And it sounds very, very similar over at Emil Dale. don't want to take up too much more of your time. We're going to round it up shortly, but I would be a fool not to ask this question. It's probably the most asked question in the world, but what is your biggest tip or bit of advice for anyone auditioning for drama college?
My biggest piece of advice, and it sounds so obvious, is to be yourself and try and enjoy the process. I always try to say to our students, that are applying for these huge drama schools that have been open for 50, 60, 70 years plus, they get so fearful and scared. But Emil always says, the prospective student is auditioning the school as well as the school is auditioning you. And that is so true. You've got to choose, you've got to want to go to that school, and you've really got to take that on board. And we really try and make sure that each student coming to our auditions gets something from it. So it's not a grilling. It's not anybody trying to trip anybody up. It's not anybody trying to, say, go on then, what have you got? It's not that. It's more like a masterclass that you get to come to, and it's an open day, and you get to do your best work. And I always say to our students, it's another opportunity to sing a song. It's another opportunity to have a great class and show your best work in acting. So if you can take all that stress out of it and just be yourself, it's obviously easier said than done, but that's what I always try and say to our students. People want to see personality, and they want to see you and not what you think you should act like.
I think that's the thing, is trying to be what you think that they're looking for. It's impossible. I have no idea what you're looking for. Even if you sat down and told me, I probably wouldn't understand it because my dance knowledge and skills aren't that great. That's all I've got, really. But I could walk into that audition and go, okay, they're probably looking for this type of person. Here I am, and completely just give a false representation of myself. And you go, no, it's not what we're looking for. So, yeah, I love that bit of advice. Be yourself, which is hard to understand. What do you mean, be yourself? What does that even mean? But I guess it's just relax and enjoy the process, like you just said.
Yeah, yeah, and to remember that you are auditioning the school, and they would be lucky to have you, and you've always got to believe that you can. Don't expect it, but believe that you can.
I love that. I love that. Your auditioning school, they'll be lucky to have you. Excuse me, guys. You'd be lucky to have me. Take me right now. That's how I'm going to go into my next audition. Hey, you'd be very lucky to have me. Sign me up.
That's got to be internal, obviously.
A little bit of sass. Nothing wrong with a bit of sass. Well, Laurie, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you giving me the time. And hopefully, as soon as we get out of this whole coronavirus situation, we can meet up and do this properly again, face to face.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Thank you so much. I'll see you again.
Take care.
That was the lovely Laurie Scarth, Head of Dance at the Emil Dale Academy. For more information on Emil Dale, go to their website. It's absolutely jam-packed full of information, all the financial details there as well. If you have any questions about that, go and check them out on their website. And that's it from me from this week. I'll see you in the next one.